A night of reckoning. Kaizer Chiefs season on the brink. South African football has always thrived on drama, passion, and the roar of supporters who live and breathe the beautiful game. But every once in a while, a match comes along that feels heavier than the usual 90 minutes. It carries history, expectation, frustration, and hope all at once. That was the atmosphere surrounding the crucial clash between Kaizer Chiefs and Richards Bay FC in the Betway Premiership. This was not just another league fixture. It was a defining chapter in a season that had already tested the patience and loyalty of Amakhosi supporters. The weight of the badge. Kaizer Chiefs are not an ordinary club. They are an institution. For decades, the gold and black jersey has symbolized pride, dominance, and identity for millions of South Africans. From Soweto to Durban, from Cape Town to Limpopo, Chiefs fans carry the club in their hearts. But with greatness comes expectation. This season had not followed the script fans had hoped for. Instead of sitting comfortably at the top of the table, Chiefs found themselves battling inconsistency. Goals were hard to come by, confidence appeared fragile, momentum was missing. By the time this match approached, Chiefs were sitting fifth on the log. Not disastrous, but far from convincing. For a club of their magnitude, mediocrity feels like failure. A season of frustration. The problems had been building for months. Only 16 goals scored in the league, a worrying statistic for a team with attacking ambitions. 3 consecutive league defeats heading into this match. Defensive lapses that turned tight games into painful losses. The most painful wound came in the Soweto Derby. When Chiefs faced Orlando Pirates, the rivalry that divides households and communities, the result was devastating, a 3-0 defeat. The scoreline didn't just hurt, it embarrassed. Derbies are about pride, and losing one so decisively left scars. Then came continental disappointment. In the CAF Champions League, Chiefs' ambitions were cut short by Egyptian giants Zamalek SC. The exit from Africa's premier competition sent a message. The rebuild was far from complete. The coach under pressure. In moments like this, attention turns to the technical bench. Co-coach Cedric Kaze did not shy away from the situation. Speaking before the Richards Bay encounter, he acknowledged the magnitude of the moment. He spoke of responsibility, of debt to the fans, of the need for character. But words are easy. Football demands results. Some supporters defended him, arguing that rebuilding takes time. Others were impatient. Chiefs had not lifted major silverware in years. Patience in football is often a luxury few can afford. The journey to Richards Bay. As match day approached, something remarkable happened. Despite frustration, hundreds of Chiefs fans organized travel from Johannesburg to Richards Bay. Buses rolled out before sunrise. Supporters wore gold jerseys proudly. Songs echoed through highways. This was loyalty in action. Yet not all fans agreed. A section had called for a boycott, demanding structural change and accountability. Social media debates grew heated. Was showing up supporting mediocrity, or was abandoning the team betrayal? The divide reflected a club at a crossroads. The stadium atmosphere. Richards Bay may not boast the largest stadium in the country, but on this night it felt like the center of the football universe. Home supporters believed their team could exploit Chiefs' vulnerability. Richards Bay had built a reputation as a disciplined, hard-working side capable of upsetting giants. When the Chiefs players stepped onto the pitch, they were met with a mixture of cheers and tension. Their traveling supporters sang loudly, almost desperately, as if willing confidence into their players. Mental chess match. From kickoff, it was clear this was not going to be a free-flowing spectacle. Richards Bay pressed aggressively. They targeted Chiefs defenders, forcing hurried clearances. They crowded midfield spaces, limiting creativity. Chiefs attempted to control possession, but movement off the ball lacked sharpness. Passes were safe, sometimes too safe. The fear of making mistakes was visible. This is what pressure does. It tightens muscles and clouds decision-making. Early halftime anxiety. The opening 30 minutes passed without clear chances. Every misplaced pass from Chiefs triggered groans. Every Richards Bay attack caused collective gasps. The narrative in the stadium was obvious. If Chiefs scored first, panic could spread. Chiefs goalkeeper was forced into an early save that reminded everyone how fragile confidence can be.
At the other end, Chiefs struggled to convert half chances into real danger. The halftime whistle blew with the score still level, but emotionally it felt like Chiefs were hanging by a thread. Fire second half turning point. The second half began with urgency from Chiefs. Their midfield pushed higher, wingers took more risks, the tempo increased. Then came the breakthrough moment, a move built on persistence rather than brilliance. A cross into the box, a scramble, a decisive finish. The traveling supporters erupted. It wasn't the most beautiful goal. It didn't matter. It was symbolic. It was belief. Richards Bay fight back. But Richards Bay were not ready to surrender. They responded with courage, pushing numbers forward. Chiefs' defense had to withstand waves of pressure. Clearances were desperate. Tackles were last-ditch. For 20 minutes, it felt like survival mode. Football often tests mentality more than skill. This was one of those moments. Defensive resolve. One of the biggest criticisms of Chiefs this season had been defensive inconsistency. But on this night, something shifted. Players threw themselves into blocks. Communication improved. There was visible unity, pointing, shouting, encouraging. The backline held firm. It wasn't perfect, but it was committed. The final whistle. When the referee finally blew the whistle, relief washed over the Chiefs players. It was only 3 points, but psychologically it felt like more. The players embraced. The bench celebrated cautiously. The traveling fans sang louder than ever. Was this the turning point, or merely a temporary bandage? Only time would tell. What this win meant. If Chiefs had lost, the gap to the top would widen. Calls for managerial changes would intensify. Confidence would sink further. But with this win, they stabilized their league position. They regained belief. They silenced critics, at least temporarily. Momentum in football is fragile but powerful. One result can reshape narratives. The bigger picture. The Betway Premiership is unforgiving. Teams that hesitate get left behind. Chiefs' ambitions remain clear. Return to dominance, qualify for continental competitions, and restore pride. But rebuilding requires consistency. One victory does not erase Derby defeats. It does not erase continental disappointment. It does not erase months of frustration. It does, however, provide a platform. Yellow Chiefs, the fans' perspective. Perhaps the most powerful story of the night was the supporters. Those who traveled felt vindicated. Their loyalty was rewarded. Those who stayed skeptical remained cautious. One win does not equal transformation. Yet everyone agreed on one thing. Kaizer Chiefs cannot remain average. The club's history demands excellence. Future questions. The question now shifts from survival to sustainability. Can Chiefs build a winning streak? Can they find consistent goal scorers? Can they strengthen mentally when facing elite opponents? The upcoming fixtures will answer these questions. Final disclaimer. Football seasons often have defining nights, moments that separate collapse from revival. For Kaizer Chiefs, this clash against Richards Bay may be remembered as the night they steadied the ship, or it may be seen as a brief pause in a turbulent campaign. But one thing is certain, the pressure is not gone. It has simply transformed into expectation again, and in South African football, expectation is the heaviest opponent of all.